Good morning. This is Yoga Hippie. Welcome to my channel if you've never been here. Welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Kristina and I live in my Prius right now. And I've been living in my Prius on and off since June of 2018. It started out with me traveling in it and then just a really convenient way to save money, and I liked it. So I've been doing this thing. So some of you may know I'm on a crazy ass adventure right now, and so I picked up and left San Diego and came out to sunny, warm Fort Lauderdale, and partially because I was tired of being cold in San Diego because it's a little bit chilly there in the winter, but also because I have an injured hand. And anyway, I was not stopping massaging people and I wasn't pursuing my other goals. So here I am. I did this radical thing where I just picked up and left, and I just know one person out here, but he lives kind of far away from where I like to be, so but it is nice to have a friend in town. So but anyway, I'm just pretty much by myself doing my thing, and I've met some really cool people so far, but I had a very rough start, and what I wanted to talk about was what I've learned. So I'm used to, I would say my life's been flowing pretty well and regularly for about 3.5 years, ever since like January of 2017. And it's not that I haven't had any problems or challenges, but everything has pretty much flowed. I mean, I moved to Hawaii for 3 months. I've gone on several road trips and just different things. I did a bunch of trainings last year, and I just didn't really miss a beat for the most part. So, I felt really compelled to come out here to Fort Lauderdale and figure out my shit, right? And then I get out here and nothing is flowing. And so, it's not like I'm a millionaire yet, right yet. But, so I have a limited amount of money, and that's fine because that's kind of how I've been rolling for a while since I haven't been self-employed, which is also part of why I'm changing my entire situation around, is because I desire to be self-employed again. And anyway, so I found myself with this idea, to promote the self-care with Kristina, or soul care with Kristina classes to yoga studios and teach workshops and then get appointments, right? Well, just none of that is happening the way I envisioned. So I had emailed, well, first I started trying to call rehab centers, and that was getting me zero. So I'm actually about to work on a different approach because my dear friend Vlad had a great idea of how he runs his business through LinkedIn. So I'm going to try that avenue. But anyway, I emailed over 20 yoga studios in this one area, right? And I got one response back. So I'm super grateful for that response. And I'm teaching my workshop on the 8th, and I'm pretty excited about that. But and the owner of the studio is so sweet, and she's well known in the yoga community and the healing community out here in Fort Lauderdale. So it's good to make her connection, and I think that's there's something to that. So anyway, I'll back up a little bit. So I've been living in fear, right? And I had all these lessons surrounding fear. And yesterday was really kind of miraculous in a lot of ways. But so I started to stress out because I wasn't getting, any responses back. My idea wasn't happening, and I was like, well, crap, what am I going to do, And then I started thinking, we're a couple weeks in, I'm like, okay, well, I'm watching my money. I'm starting to stress out. And I'm like, well, dude, so then I start was kind of spiraling, you know, like I became, I wouldn't say full on negative, but I was definitely irritable and and stressed out and focused. And I knew it was happening, right? Like I could feel myself getting caught into this negative thing in my head, and it was so hard. I couldn't seem to like get myself to stop like getting caught up into this. So there were days where I just like started my day over a million times and then was pissed off about that, and then the slightest thing would derail me again, like people honking their horns. There's a lot of people from Jersey here, and I guess they are really rude, impatient drivers apparently. And also Fort Lauderdale was rated the top rudest drivers in America. Yeah, I would say so, man. They're fucking impatient. But anyway, so I'm used to Ocean Beach. It's pretty chill. Everybody's on skateboards and beach cruisers and walking around. And, you know, people are not fucking honking horns. Nobody fucking does that. And so, anyway, it's just different. It's a very different place. And so I was having a very hard time. And I was getting... I wouldn't say depressed. I was just pissed off and scared, you know, like, shit, what's happening now? Why is this happening? And so one of the things that I know is that one of the lessons that I'm here to learn in this life is to go with the flow, which is really funny because, man, nothing has been flowing really, right, until just this last few days. And the thing that changed it was me. Funny how that happens, right? So I threw my back out, right? So people who know me know and understand that I had like 8 years of chronic debilitating back problems. And it was all caused, I mean, superficially, you know, on a physical conversation about it. It was just simply my psoas was super contracted and it wasn't letting go. And this muscle attaches deeply into the body and it attaches to your leg and your spine, and it was tight and it wasn't releasing, and I spent thousands of dollars on it, and it's a terrible, stupid story, but it was a very large part of my life and focus and energy for the better part of a decade, like 8 years. And so long story short, my psoas released at a meditation retreat, of a Vipassana meditation retreat, and I do plan to tell that story, but it's a very personal story, and I don't know when I'm telling it, but I will. So anyway, I had like a repeat of this, right? Thank God it was a mini repeat. I don't remember the exact date that I threw my back out, but it's been about a week. So it's finally better today. Today I woke up with my back being in the right place. But for the past week, oh my gosh, man, it's been really painful, and it got me really down, and I felt very discouraged, and just kind of like, why is all this happening, you know? And then I really started to come to understand this feeling of fear and not letting go of my ideas again, and coming back full circle to this lesson that I keep having. Like, man, it's just hard to let go sometimes, right? I mean, it really is. Like, there's a lot of things I've let go of, but this need to control outcomes and this need to control my life, it just comes up occasionally. So I think it's really important to let go. And once I finally did it, I felt a shift in myself. And this was just a few days ago. This is Friday, so this was like maybe Tuesday. It was Tuesday. So, I mean, seriously, we're talking just a couple of days, just a few days. But I made a new commitment. I mean, I had been making this commitment and declaration that I was letting it go, but I just wasn't doing it, right? And I was instead worrying about everything, and I was upset about my back. Anyway, so my back started getting better as soon as I started actually letting go. And I went to get acupuncture. That was helpful. And then I've been doing this hydro massage table at the gym. And anyway, I've really been taking care of myself and the last week doing a much better job. So I want to encourage you with that, even though it's hard to let go. It's really beneficial to our body. And so one of the things I wanted to say about that is this separation that we put on ourselves of our mind and our body, because all of these things that are happening up here in my mind. So my psoas doesn't feel anything. It's me feeling my tight psoas. It's a physiological response to fear. It's fight or flight. And when you get into fight or flight because you're anxious or you're worried, you're going through all those type of things, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to, suddenly, like, being in my car, I was grateful, but it didn't feel like it was a choice at that point, right? Because I'm, like, worrying about all my money and... And before, I wasn't worried about money because I had enough money, but I still chose to live in my car because I could save money and I liked it, right? So it's funny. It's so funny how your circumstances and our thoughts about them and our beliefs about them can change a circumstance that, we chose. Anyway. So this physiological thing happens when you go into fight or flight. Your parasympathetic nervous system goes out the window and your body dumps your adrenal glands fire out. All your adrenaline is dumped into your body, and your blood starts moving to the extremities of your body, and it stays there instead of, being in your organs. So all these things happen, right? And then on top of that, you're freaking stressed out. So cortisol is involved and just all this stuff starts happening, right? And in our minds, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, my psoas is like, flared up and it's tight. It's my psoas, it's my psoas, it's my psoas. No, it's not. It's me. it's what I'm doing to myself. So, and I really wasn't sure I believed all of that, but man, I can't help it. I do, because of my experience in the Vipassana retreat. And so yesterday I had a somatic, this acupuncturist could tell that I had been through a lot, and he gifted me with a 2-hour somatic session, and I think that's partially why I feel so much better today. But because somatics is all mind body, and I had like a whole emotional release, and was crying like a little baby after he left the room, and I just let myself cry, and that's when I had all these really huge clarity type things, epiphanies, if you will. And later when I was talking to him about it, he smiled and he said that it was there all along, right? That I know these things, but I wasn't listening. And it makes me tear up, because we know inside, what's best and what we're going to do and what we're going to choose. And even though I struggled with my decision to come here, I knew deep down I was coming here to Florida. So now there's part of me that wants to leave, right? Because it's hard and it's confusing and it's new and it's freaking scary, So, but if I go back to California, what have I learned? And what have I done? Nothing. I would go back to massaging and having pain in my hand and not figuring out my shit. So I'm going to push through this fear and let go of my control over the situation and be grateful for the synchronicities that start to show up, and start, continue opening doors and seeing where they lead. So, I'm really on one right now. Like, this is for real one of the craziest things I've done, and I've done some real crazy shit. Like, I really have. As far as like, responsible type things that people do, like I've done some crazy ones. So, but this one feels super crazy to me, and crazier than not having a return ticket and only $700 to my name in Panama. I mean, all of that went fine, right? I didn't have, I mean, I had a little bit more money when I went to Hawaii. Hawaii went great. Everybody kept telling me how hard Hawaii was, and it became hard, but that was totally different situation. So, but when I got there, everything was fine. Everything, all doors opened wide for me, you know, and so, I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? And if I decide to change my mind, I can do that, right? Because I'm like 49. I can do whatever I want. And it's just me in my car. So it's okay. But I am definitely on a journey, and my biggest obstacle is myself. And so I want to encourage you to let go of, you know, I had to, was going to say let go of fear, but, and that's what I'm doing, but I had to walk through it. I had to feel it, and I had to allow it to move out of me and know that I'm reading this book called I'm listening to it on an audio thing, The Universe Has Your Back. And that book actually was what was helping me let go. And so, you know, maybe that's all you need is some positive things to listen to. Maybe, you know, I don't know what your situation is or what you're afraid of, but the only way to tackle it is to get past it, is to do it, to do the thing you're afraid of, to walk through that fear, and then to let go of outcomes and allow the universe to guide you and show you the way. So I'll keep you posted on my crazy ass journey here, and I have some new things I'm going to work on today, and hopefully some great things come of those things. So like my video. Oh, and if you want to come on a rad retreat with me, I'll be teaching the yoga and doing the sound healing with my harp at a jungle retreat in TULUM at March 29th. So the link is below in the description, and I would love to meet you and have you join all the fun that we're going to have there. And then I can't remember anything else. If you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, anywhere around there, happy to come share my harp sound healing with you, and or yoga or soul care session with you, whatever you like. So all right, so hopefully you're subscribed. If not, please subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.